Hey everybody! That was really loud. I'm sorry. Hi, welcome to the community podcast. Sort of. This isn't necessarily interviewing someone from the community, just someone I know who's a part of many a community, but it's not necessarily about that. Welcome to the show, Mr.
Jonathan.
Okay, Hi. Jonathan. Nice, thanks.
I didn't know you were going to do that.
I don't have any nicknames for you. Can't spell dork backwards, Jonathan. But yeah,
I'm not going to go into that.
I want to talk about a game I've been playing, and it's like you won't even guess what it is. Just get like from what I've talked about, what you might have seen me playing online. What do you think it is?
Well, you said you've been trying to play the Yakuza series or Yakuza. You sent me a text a couple days ago. I forget what game it was, but I didn't know the name of it. Scrolling through
Mirror's Edge Catalyst. I want to talk about Mirror's Edge.
Okay.
I've been playing Mirror's Edge Catalyst. Let me tell you about Mirror's Edge Catalyst. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
It was $5 on Xbox Live during sale, so I'm like, oh, nobody bought this. No one bought this one. And I'm like, it must be. And I saw a lot of people saying it was kind of bad, so I'm like, well, $5, might as well try it. I liked the first one. I may as well try this one.
I was wondering if you had played the first one or not.
Yeah, it's like Mirror's Edge Catalyst is good, but not like amazing. It has a lot of issues, but overall, it's still really fun.
Okay.
And it's open world, which is something I didn't know about it. And I think that's my biggest problem with it is that it's open world.
Yeah.
Because like how Breath of the Wild is open world and how because there are many different kinds of open world games. There's like Zelda, and then there's like Assassin's Creed. This is definitely more like Assassin's Creed, where there's just a bunch of stuff on a map, and you kind of just go and do stuff. You go to that spot and you get a mission, and then you do whatever that is. And the level design is really good in the sense that it's an open world and there's like freedom to do whatever. But it's bad in the sense that you can never tell where to go in order to get to where you need to go without
like plot wise or
no, just like there's a spot over there. How do I get there? I don't know. So what you have is runner vision, which basically is just a glowy red line on the ground that tells you where to go. And it's like, I like this because I know where to go now, but at the same time, it cheapens the experience because it doesn't feel like I myself am actually figuring this out.
So
at the same time, it's like you need to keep. It's hard.
Is it like the first game where like things are different colors to?
Yeah, it's like that. But since it's open world, they kind of like the thing I was talking about, where it's kind of hard to find the way you need to go because it's not linear.
Okay.
They just kind of do a very specific waypoint on the ground, saying, "Hey, idiot, go here, jump off this, do whatever," and you can find multiple ways to get to the same place, but I don't know. There's really no point if it's just marked.
Do you think that people maybe didn't like it as much because they felt like the open world was forced, or?
It doesn't feel forced. It definitely feels like this was something that they might have wanted to do, where it's just like, freedom to go whatever direction you want during a chase or something like that. But at the same time, it kind of loses a lot of focus.
Yeah.
Because there's just so many different ways. Sometimes what inevitably happens is you'll do a mission and it'll say run away, and then you don't go the way the waypoint tells you to go. You go some other way because it just says, oh, just escape, because it's like Grand Theft Auto, where there's just a big like search like bubble, and you have to get out of the bubble to escape. It's like that. So you're just like, oh, I'll just go this way. Oh, never mind, it's just a dead end here. Or, oh, this way. Oh, there's nowhere to jump here. So what inevitably happens, you just have to follow the path, or else you'll either get stuck or,
So it like tries to give you freedom of choice, but it's still somewhat shoehorning you into a certain direction.
Exactly. I think it's just like what really emphasizes that is the fact that it does have this red waypoint on the ground telling you which way to go. It's like you can go wherever you want, but you really can't.
Yeah.
So I'd say that's my biggest problem with it. But other than that, it's still fun. You're still like jumping around, and it's really satisfying because there are these courier missions, which like they give you something and it's like, hey, go over here in a really fast time or whatever, or make it before the time runs out, and that's really fun to try to figure out how to do it as fast as possible. It can get a little frustrating when you mess up a bunch, but I don't know. It's trial and error, like the first game kind of was.
Yeah, definitely. Did you ever finish the first game?
Yeah, I finished it. I got to the very last level. Like, it was like the last checkpoint. And then I had to leave to go to college for a semester. So I didn't get back to it for like another month. Like, I think
you had left your PS3.
Yeah, and so I think it was after Christmas.
Okay.
And so no, yeah, it was because it was free with PSX that year.
Yeah.
At PSX, EA came out and they're like, "Hey, Mirror's Edge and whatever's free."
Yeah, and I think it was the same time that Plants vs Zombies.
Yeah, and Need for Speed Most Wanted on Vita.
Yeah.
But so I was at the last checkpoint, and it's like, time to go to school. Like, oh. So during spring break, I came back and I finally finished it.
Yeah, I don't think I ever finished the game. I might have been about halfway through, but Mirror's Edge is one of those games where like I had friends who had it, so I'd play up to a certain point, and then I'd play up to that certain point again, and like I'd constantly do that. And then when I finally got it, it was like I bought it, and then it was free.
Yeah,
and I was like, really? And that tends to happen to me a lot is when I buy games. But no, I think I probably got about halfway through the game. So I mean, I experienced a decent chunk of it, but I never even really thought about getting the second game. So.
And then, well, it's not really a sequel. It's a reboot. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, the first game never happened in this universe now. It's just kind of like, yeah, it's complicated. But also the cutscenes are actually like rendered not in engine, but they're like pretty instead of like the first games where it's a comic book style.
Okay.
And I don't know how to feel about that. Because the cutscenes are pretty, but at the same time, it's what made the first game kind of unique.
Yeah.
Was that art decision?
I can't remember. Let me look up the timeline. When did I don't know if you can still see me or not.
Mirror's Edge 1 come out?
Yeah, but like compared to Borderlands.
It was a year before. I remember because I have a Game Informer that's like the best games of 2008. And Mirror's Edge, Mirror's Edge, Gears of War 2, and Metal Gear Solid 4 and all are all in that issue.
Okay, that makes sense then. I was just
it was either late 2008 or it was like sometime in 2008 or if it was 2009, it was early. But I'm pretty sure it was 2008.
2009 is when Borderlands came out.
Yeah, I know that. Are you just curious because that's kind of like the time frame you played them, or?
Well, oh yeah. Couple of years earlier, 2007.
2007. Jeez.
I was just wondering because when I think of cell-shaded games, like I was trying to figure out kind of the timeline for that because comic booky style is both of them.
I mean, the game Mirror's Edge, the game itself was realistic looking. It was just the cutscenes.
Just the cutscenes, I know, but like. It was something different. I think, I guess Metal Gear Peace Walker did that as well.
Well, yeah, that was a couple years later.
Yeah.
But that was like 4 years later.
Peace Walker?
No.
Peace Walker was
Peace Walker 2010. It was PSP, yeah.
Yeah.
2011 is when it came out with the HD collection.
Yeah.
That's why I'm thinking that. Or was Peace Walker 2009? Who cares?
Timeline for games. Yeah. I didn't play them when they came out. I played them years after anyway. So.
Well, I was lucky enough to where I got a job right when the Legacy Collection came out, so I just had like money. So I'm like, I'll just buy this on a whim so I can play all the games because I've heard they're good.
Yeah.
And because I had only played 4, and so I played 1, 2, and 3. I'm like, oh shit, this is amazing.
Yeah, because I remember you played this Metal Gear series, and then I played it after you did. But it was like Alex and I were playing them at the same time.
I remember because you guys were like racing.
Yeah, but I think I finished before him, maybe? I don't remember. It doesn't really matter.
I beat you both. But I'm a true fan. I read the motion comics that came with the collection, the Legacy Collection. It came with motion comics.
I know it did. Oh, I
So
need the comments.
yeah,
Jeez.
and then but I did, to dial it back, another game I've been playing that I talked to you about was I Yakuza 0 was on sale
Mhm.
on PSN, so I bought that because I just got paid. So I'm like, why not?
Yeah,
Backlog.
yeah.
And it's really good. I
That's
really
good.
like it.
Yeah.
It takes a long time to get going,
Mhm.
like properly, but once it gets going, it gets going good.
Okay.
It gets
I've,
real going.
yeah, I've never played those games. I've seen some
I've
gameplay.
I dabbled during PS like I dabbled in Yakuza 3 because that had a demo
Mhm.
in like the early PS3 days. Um, Yakuza 4 and 5 were free on PlayStation Plus. So
Before I had PS Plus.
I dabbled in those, but I
Mhm.
just had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
And so that's why I think Zero is so perfect because it just dials everything back, wipes the slate clean, and you can just start over from the very beginning, the very, very, very beginning
Okay.
of the entire story. And so if you know the characters, that's cool, but at the same time, it's
It's not
still,
needed because
yeah.
it introduces you to them.
Well, I pre-ordered Yakuza Kiwami on Amazon because
Okay.
it's only $30 and it's the Steelbook,
Okay.
and with like Amazon Prime, it's even cheaper. Um, and it says in the product description, perfect for newcomers of the series are those who just started with Yakuza 0. So this
No,
was the plan all along to just, bring new people in with a prequel and then
start over.
slide a remake of the first game in. And maybe they'll remake 2. I think they're going to remake 2 as well and then just release 3, 4, and 5 on PS4.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They'll probably do that after 6 comes out, though, because 6 is supposed to be early 2018, I think.
Yeah, and it's a good way to get people more engaged in the series because I mean, um, oh shoot, I mean it feels like they've been doing that a lot recently. Like
Mm-hmm.
I think they're gonna probably be making new Crash Bandicoot games because they
Yeah.
were like, let's release the remastered collection. Let's see how it does. If people
Mm-hmm.
like it,
Testing the
we'll make it.
waters.
Yeah, or
Well,
like
and then
Patapon and stuff like
yeah.
that.
Well, and then like Yakuza 0 apparently sold way better than they could have possibly expected
Mhm.
because it just came out in January at a time where people didn't really have a lot to play, and it was a PS4 exclusive, so everyone got those PS4s for Christmas and wanted something to play,
Mhm.
and like maybe something new. Like maybe they over Christmas break they had already played like, you know,
Their Call of
Uncharted and
Duties.
Infamous and whatever. And so they're like, "Hey, I'm caught up.
Mhm.
Give me something new."
Okay. Now
So,
is it?
but
It's like an open world game as well.
it's not like it's not an open world in the traditional sense. You walk through like an open environment from point A to point B. It's more of an RPG.
Oh, okay.
It's an action RPG is what I would say.
All right.
And
Yeah,
so
because the only real knowledge I have of the series is Donkey's videos.
yeah,
But
it's so
I
good.
know
Like
those aren't like a good representation of
I
the
know.
games
Well,
itself.
like well, a lot of people go into Yakuza, or at least I think would go into Yakuza thinking it's just this quirky, goofy, silly game.
Mhm.
And it is all that, but it also is like very serious and covers a lot of like there's a lot of intense moments and covers some serious subject matter. And so it's kind of weird. You get that ludo narrative dissonance sometimes that people like
Okay.
to bring up where or maybe not even ludo narrative, tonal dissonance
Okay.
where you're like I don't really know how to feel. Should I be laughing all the like is this game just going to be a comedy or is it serious?
Mhm.
And so you don't really know when to laugh during the phone. If you don't know if you should laugh during the funny bits or like cry during the serious. But it's I could see it running into
Yeah.
that
So
problem.
it emotionally changes significantly from time to time. To
Yeah, you'll go on a side quest that's like about this like middle-aged lady harassing you and she like tries to like make out with you and it's like haha funny whatever and then like your best friend dies you're like oh yeah
spoilers.
so well
But
I'm
yeah.
just
Yeah.
theoretically
No, that's yeah.
I don't even know I haven't even played enough to know if a best friend dies, so
Well then.
oops. Inadvertent oops, but I don't know. I haven't gotten
Yeah.
that far yet.
Mhm.
But as an example of like something it could throw at you
Yeah.
randomly.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, I think So you kind of have to know going in that this is going to be both of those things.
Mhm.
And I think that's a very uniquely like Japanese thing with games is that it tries to do both serious and funny. Persona does that a lot,
Yeah, definitely.
but I think
That was
Persona
the
does it better
main
than
thing.
anyone.
Well, I think
Actually, now they
with
say that.
with Persona, but with the Persona series, the thing is, you have a lot of times where it's like, okay, I'm gonna like like I'm in high school, I'm gonna be hanging out with my friend. Five,
Yeah.
it seems like, and there's a lot of political undertones with five,
Oh
so
yeah.
it's just like, well, they're controlling the whole government, and if we don't do anything, we're screwed.
Well,
And
I don't want to give anything away, but like Persona 5, the last act is just the whole thing is super serious. Like
yeah, well, I mean, things have
there
already
yeah.
gotten super serious after.
There's definitely a point where it stops being fun in games.
Yeah. Well, I think even well, because I'm at a certain dungeon, but I'll say I'm back or I'm past the normal, like past the retelling, like
Yeah. Well,
past
what
that.
month are you in? Are you in November?
Start of December.
December.
Yeah.
The start of
Um,
December?
yeah, I'm in
I know what you're
the
talking about.
dungeon. Yeah. But
The
after
watery one.
yes, after the previous dungeon, things like the stakes kind of got really high, and you kind of figured out what the whole goal was at that point, so far at least, to my knowledge. But
Yeah.
it's gotten a lot more serious.
I'd say Persona 4 does kind of a bad job of alternating between serious and funny. Because sometimes you'll think something's very serious and then they'll start cracking jokes. You're like, was that really appropriate? I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Persona 5 kind of does that sometimes, but I felt like it handles its subject matter
Well,
with like a lot more
a good example of
tact.
games that I don't always think do a good job of that is the Uncharted series. I was talking to
Ludo
Seth.
narrative dissonance.
Yeah. Oh, I was talking to
There's a
Seth.
trophy called Ludo narrative dissonance
Oh, really?
for killing 1,000 bad guys.
Oh, okay.
I'm assuming that's where you're going with this.
Well, no. I was talking to Seth, and he's been playing the remaster or the HD, whatever, the PS4
It's like a
collection,
mess. They were already HD, John.
and he was playing Uncharted 2, and spoilers, by the way, if you guys haven't played it by this point, what are you doing wrong? But
It's 8 years old.
yeah, when the reporter dies,
Yeah.
they
My name's
immediately
Tiff.
start cracking jokes after he dies.
Yeah,
Like,
because they get a. It's very serious, and then they escape, and then it's like just like old times, huh?
yeah,
It's like
yeah.
okay.
Dude that you've been working with
I
for
guess
how
he didn't
long
really
just
matter that
died.
much.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, you could just see it as they're just coworkers and whatever.
But
It's
still,
tragic. Yeah,
someone she knew just died, and
yeah,
she's immediately starting cracking jokes, and it doesn't seem like a coping mechanism. It just seems like
yeah. They kind of just skip over it. Like, yeah, he wasn't that
exactly.
important. I know you just helped him through this entire escort section, but he's not important.
Yeah. I've been playing a whole mess of games.
Yeah, I'm trying. I beat Persona. I'm trying to get back into Neo because Neo's really good.
Yeah,
Neo's really good.
Yeah, and it has multiple endings, doesn't it?
Neo?
Yeah. Or
I think
no,
you're thinking
I'm
Nier.
thinking Nier.
I still need to get Nier.
Yeah.
But Neo's really good.
Neo's the Dark Souls-esque.
It's better than Dark Souls.
Okay. We can agree to disagree on that one, but
I'm not even joking. I like it better than.
Fair enough.
Well, I know you probably want to talk about games you've been playing, but I just want to quickly say I'm all about atmosphere and aesthetic.
Yeah, and I think we've talked about this.
Yeah, like the world of Dark Souls just doesn't interest me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think I said to you one time, if I'm gonna die 100 times in a game, I want to do it in a place that I like, not someplace I'm not interested in.
Yeah.
So dying 1,000 times in kind of generic fantasy land doesn't really appeal to me. But dying 1,000 times in Victorian horror London-esque Bloodborne or feudal Japan Neo, it's way makes it a little more motivating.
So the thing, and Souls fans would probably hate me for this, I've only really actually played the first game. The 2 and 3 I've been either
I dabbled in two.
I've played with someone. So in 1, I played by myself. 2 and 3, I played with someone. 3, I played about half of it by myself, and then I had a friend that was like, "Hey, you want to finish it with me?" But he knew a whole bunch of the lore and stuff like that. So, and this is Seth, and so he was taking me through the game, and he was saying, "Okay, well, you see what this thing is," and then he'd explain the backstory to it, and I was like, "Oh, okay, that's really cool."
See, I'm not. I'd say that's my biggest problem with Souls games. It's like I'm all about environmental storytelling, but when it's literally like I look at something and I go, like someone has to explain to me what this means instead of me just looking at it and going, "Oh, this happened here."
Yeah.
You know, like Neo is very good with that, where you see like a dead body in a place, you're like, "Oh, I can gather that this guy," or you see like a blood streak that leads to a body in a place, like, "Oh, maybe there was like a fight here and this guy got dragged here or like crawled over here and then died or whatever." You know, it's like, whereas Dark Souls is definitely more like the ancient god once had a battle here and this is the remains of that battle or whatever. And you're like, okay, cool, sure, why not? You know,
the thing definitely with
wouldn't have found that
3,
out on my own.
3, you really have to play at least 1 in order to
Well,
pick
yeah,
up on
because
the
you
lore
go
from
back
it.
to Anne Orlando, don't you?
You go back to Anne Orlando, but
I never got that far, but I've just seen Anne Orlando.
there's certain, like, in 1 you had a fight at this place and you killed this thing and that's the remains of this thing that you killed.
Yeah.
Or
Dude, that's kind of cool.
this is the original bonfire. Now some of the stuff is in like DLC or whatever.
Well, isn't it like the kiln or whatever at the ending of Dark Souls 1?
Yeah.
I watched Game Attack play through Dark
Yeah.
Souls, and so I yeah.
But at the end of 3 in the city or the Ashes DLC, if the name escapes me right now.
I don't know. Couldn't
but
tell you.
there you go to the first Firelink Shrine.
I see.
Like,
I see.
you fight
That's
a
pretty
boss. Cool. It's really big. Or it's 2 bosses actually. You fight them, and then after you kill them, you can see the well and where the Firelink Shrine or whatever. You can see all that stuff.
Like, that sounds cool. I just have a problem when it's like stuff you have to kind of like go. You wouldn't even know about unless you read it online. You know, like whereas Dark Souls 3, a lot of that's like, oh, I played this game, I know what this is.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of stuff in Bloodborne, especially, is I have no idea what the context for this is, but okay.
Yeah, and with Bloodborne, I went and I watched videos explaining.
I mean, it's all cool. I just wish the game itself would talk about it.
Yeah.
Same problem with Destiny. A lot of people had with Destiny. Yeah, it's like Destiny does it and people hate it, but Dark Souls or Bloodborne does it.
The thing with From Software games is people give them a lot of leeway with everything.
And I think people knew, like, going in, like, or like at least to, you know, Dark Souls and Bloodborne, this is how they tell stories. Where you go into Destiny and it's Bungie and you're used to cutscene, characters, you know, an actual plot.
That
has a beginning, middle, and end.
Again, year 1 of Destiny was, I mean, I played a shit ton of it, but it was kind of a clusterfuck with story and all that. And
I see Destiny is probably my goatee for 2014, purely from a gameplay standpoint.
Yeah.
Because mechanically speaking, Destiny is probably the best shooter ever made. Like, it feels the best.
I don't know if I'd agree with that. It's really good.
I'd say
I don't think Destiny.
I can't even think of another like Doom, maybe.
My issue with Destiny is, and it's the same thing with The Division. It's you pump bullets into things.
It's an RPG, not a
and the fact that there are some bosses, even with 3 people for a max level, you still have to be very, very lucky and fight a thing for 6 hours to.
I don't really mean that. I mean just like the act of pressing R2 in Destiny feels better than any other game. I'd argue.
Okay.
I don't know what Bungie does. I don't know what they do. But it just feels good.
I mean, they definitely do have good gunplay and good gameplay design, and I mean, I could
talk about the beta if you want me to.
Yeah, I actually didn't play it at all. I just
You didn't really miss much. There was like it's the best worst beta I've ever played because it's the worst beta I've ever played from like this doesn't give me any this hardly gives me any idea of what the actual game's going to be like.
Okay.
But it's the best in terms of like this feels really good, you know, and this works and whatever, you know what I mean? So you got one story mission, one strike, and 2 multiplayer modes on 2 different maps.
Okay.
It's and like
Like
I think you
PvP.
pre-ordered it digitally. You could go to the social space. I'm like, this feels a little. This feels like a marketing beta, not a test things out beta.
I shouldn't have to pay in order to play.
Experience like get the full version of the beta. It's like it's a beta. Like who cares? Just the whole point of a beta is to unleash the floodgates and push buttons and see what breaks.
And I think it's also a good like so. 2 games that I'm pretty sure, and I think we'll be discussing this soon. The 2 games that
I'm not done with Destiny 2 though.
Yeah, I know. But 2 games that got me to want to get the game because of the beta, or well, 3 I guess. Overwatch, Battlefront, and Lawbreakers.
Yeah.
Lawbreakers I was kind of interested in, but I played the beta, and I'm at this point I'm kind of.
If I can, I will. Yeah. But back to like Destiny 2. We'll talk about Lawbreakers later, but probably like right after Destiny 2.
But can I finish my thought real quick? I think that with betas, it shouldn't be that I have to pay to get a beta. It should be if they want to release it, it should be okay. We're trying to test things. We're trying to stretch our servers, but it should be. And I get the maybe a day or 2 early if you pre-order it and stuff like that.
I know where you're going with this.
It should be everyone should be able to play it so that they can test the game, and then if they like it, then they can pay for it.
How many games come out and the servers are busted day 1 because of all the traffic?
Exactly.
It's like just get that out of the way early. Figure out like just have it free for literally everybody. If you have a PSN, Xbox Live account, you can download. You don't even need like Gold or Plus or whatever.
Yeah.
Just like punch it to the max, and just so you have that ceiling. But and that's the thing with Destiny 2. I think Bungie said this is an old build. It's like,
why?
Why? So I probably because it works. You know, they felt comfortable showing it. It wasn't gonna like break or anything like that. But what's the point of a beta if you can't take in feedback? Like that applies to the beta.
Yeah.
You know, like the beta is already not representative of the full game. There might already be stuff that's different. Like I think people were complaining about in multiplayer not the respawn timers, the cooldown, the ability cooldowns. And people are like, it takes way too long to get grenades. They're like, don't worry, this is an old build. We're already working on that. It's like, what? Why isn't that already like? Why did you release the beta as an inferior product to what you already have? That's I understand game development and whatever, but it's just a little weird because it just kind of cements the thought that this is just purely for marketing and not actually for feedback.
Yeah.
And just to stress the servers and not.
Well, I think
because they said like get prepared to get booted back to orbit on this day or whatever. It's like, okay, that's what this beta is for.
The only game that I've ever actually provided feedback after playing the beta was Destiny 1. I had pre-ordered Destiny 1 and I was planning on getting it, but it sent me an email and was like, all right, what did you like? What did you not like?
I did that with Siege, I think, because I played the alpha, the closed alpha and the closed beta and the open beta, so it was like, hey, you've been doing this.
Yeah. I think I might have done it for Siege as well. But
like my survey for Siege was huge, but yeah. Because it was more of an alpha. I lost you. I lost you for
game development.
I lost you for a sec.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay. The thing with, I mean, the game isn't done yet. Destiny is not done yet.
They have not announced that it has gone gold.
Yes, but I feel like it's probably at the point, knowing game development, and as long as it doesn't get pushed back, that it's almost a finished product. They're just working on bugs.
They're just tweaking, I'd say. I think it's because I don't think they really need, because it's still like they haven't made any fundamental changes to Destiny.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So I don't know if like they really, they're not reinventing the wheel. They're just kind of making it better. But I mean, obviously, you flip one switch, a million switches get
Yeah,
turned
exactly.
off.
Yeah.
So I just think like right now they're just kind of fine tuning everything and
Mhm.
balancing. I'd say balancing is the main thing they're probably
Yeah,
working on
yeah,
right now.
definitely.
And I think that was what the beta was probably, in terms of like feedback. I think that was what it was mostly for, is just the balancing. Because a lot of companies, or like a lot of developers, the reason they do a beta might not be like the whole appeal of a beta is getting as many eyes on it as possible. Because I think I forget where it was, like a dev documentary or something like that. It's like you can have the studio playing it for months and months and months, and the second you put it online, it'll be one day, and you'll find things out that you had no idea, because there's just so many people playing it at once. There's so many hours being logged at one time. There's more hours being logged in on one day of public playtime than the entire dev cycle.
Yeah, and I think that's also like a big thing with Overwatch. Again, I hate going back to that because I'm totally obsessed with the game and you know it. But that's why they have the PTR, is so that
Oh yeah.
internally a character may feel just fine, it may feel great, and then they put it out to the public.
It's not necessarily like full access, but it's also out there.
But it's like, okay, like Doomfist just came out. Doomfist, they nerfed Doomfist the like day after the
I still haven't
PTR
played as
came out.
Doomfist, but
I'm terrible with him.
I mean,
But
trouble with every hero until you get good. I'm not saying you're
like,
bad. I'm just saying that's just how Overwatch works.
But like internally, they may think everything's fine, and like as you're saying, I could play it and I could be a pro gamer or whatever. I'm not, but I could figure out how to play a character ways that they couldn't imagine, and then all of a sudden, the character just doesn't work in a normal sense.
I forget what it was, but I was listening to the EZA podcast, and it was like right after E3, so they're talking about like the demos they had played, and there was one guy who, like, oh yeah, it was Snake Pass, I think.
Oh, okay.
And one of the guys, they were like, "You can't even jump in Snake Pass." He's like, "I figured it out."
Yeah.
And he's just like, they're like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, you can like do it with like this, like you can finesse it with this button press." Because like, I don't even think the developers knew about that.
Yeah.
So it's like even just just a fresh perspective. It can be like one person. Yeah. I know I said like a million people in one day will provide more perspective than an entire game development, but one person, once it goes public, could also do the same thing. Just crack everything wide open.
And like, I mean, you know that I took that semester where I was doing game development, stuff like that. When I made games and stuff like that, and I was just like, okay, this is the way you're supposed. Like, I made very basic stuff, but like I made a very simple 3D platformer. Go and get the coins, and then
was it in
fireworks
Unity?
at the end. Yes, it was. But like, to my mind, it was just like, okay, well, I can do this in 20 seconds, and I go from here to here to here to here this way, and that's how I get there. But then I had my dad play it. My dad plays video games, but not as much as he used to. And my dad's just like, okay, I have no idea how to get there. And in my mind, it's absolutely straightforward. But to him, he's just like, this doesn't make sense.
Yeah. That's, I think, one of the biggest hurdles for game design. But I wanted to kind of dial back a little bit and talk about closed betas and open betas. Yeah. Because I wanted to do this a little earlier, but I forgot. And like, I think both are very important. I know, like, I think all betas should be open. I think any game that has a beta, it should be open at some point, just to test that ceiling, and just get as many eyes on as possible. But I also think there's value in a closed beta, because you get the hardcore and the people who are very enthusiastic about playing this, so you're gonna get, pretty good feedback. And it's a little wonky, because gamers can be really weird. They can either be brutally honest, or just like, so like, oh, everything's perfect, I just had a blast, and not like have any idea how to even provide feedback. They just say like, what did you like? What did you didn't like? You're like, I thought it was fun. I thought it wasn't, whereas some people might be like, okay, I didn't like this, this, and this, and blah 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 blah. So it's hard when you have a closed beta because you have those, because usually it's behind a pre-order wall.
Yes.
So you just get the people that are already excited and buying into this early.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of, it's a double-edged sword. You get the hardcore and the just like, I'll be happy with whatever I get because I'm just really excited for this.
Yeah, you got the people who are like, oh, Bungie could never do anything wrong. What they come out will be good no matter what. And
I'll like it. That's how I am with like Uncharted. Basically, it's like literally anything they do, I'll be like, yeah, it was great.
Yeah, no.
Like, I'm trying to think of like a recent example. Well, I do this with a lot of games where like, yeah, this kind of sucked, but I didn't care because I just enjoyed it anyway.
Well, that like your video about Telltale, it's
where it's like example. I enjoy the games, but they have a lot of issues,
and
I don't really want to buy them anymore until they fix them because I feel guilty inside.
But then you have people like, and I don't buy them.
Like I overlook the issues, but I just think it's been going on for too long.
Yes,
that's me.
Yes, exactly. And people will overlook the issues and say, okay, well, I enjoyed the story and I thought the game was great. Sure, it had these technical issues, but I was able to look over them because I like them as a studio and I like.
Like I'll recommend Batman, but I'll also say I hope you're willing to overlook game crashes, frame rate dips, missing character models, because like that's all in there. Like it's a very good story with good performances and interesting things, but I hope you're not.
Yeah, and I think
get ready to replay a few sections because it crashes.
There's only a few companies that can really get away with stuff like that.
Where people just overlook things.
Yes, but then there's companies like Ubisoft where people hated Unity.
Yep.
Because it had all those issues.
This is literally like I knew about the issues, but I never really encountered them in a major way, and I just had fun with the game anyway. So I'm like, Unity's great, and then everyone's like, this game sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know people hated this.
Yeah, and I thought Unity was a lot of fun. It's probably
I thought it had issues, but I'm like,
besides the first Assassin's Creed, I think it was my least favorite. But it was a fun game.
Good.
Yes, exactly.
Assassin's Creed games are like pizza.
But I also didn't. By the time I finished the game, they had already patched out like all of the issues and stuff. But people gave them so much crap for it. They're like, "Why did this happen?"
They never let them forget.
Exactly. And people, I mean,
protagonist and the whatever.
Yeah, and people still made jokes about it, and like later games, they were
it's like, are we forgetting that CD Projekt Red, like Witcher 3, launched pretty broken and it had to be patched?
I couldn't play it.
Yeah,
it like, literally would not load when I.
But they get a pass because they're CD Projekt Red.
Exactly, and I mean, I think
Unity, you can't play multiplayer for a couple months. Oh, Ubisoft, everything they make is trash.
Exactly.
It's like, come on, just like, I guess enjoy what you enjoy, hate what you hate, but at the same time, it's like you have to look at things through an even lens. You know, like. There are definitely tiers, I'd say. You know, like indie, double A, triple A, god tier. If you want to, like, you know, I'd say Nintendo's pretty god tier.
Well, yeah. For example, like I give Nintendo passes for a lot of things because I grew up on Nintendo.
Like Breath of the Wild's frame rate dips.
Yes,
it's like
exactly.
That game is so good. Yeah. You know, it's like I'll let this one slide.
But like Skyward Sword, people hate Skyward Sword. I had fun with that. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I never beat it, but I still like. I got to the part where you have to escort the robot up the volcano, and I'm like, nope, I'm done. Goodbye, Skyward Sword.
But that game had a lot of technical issues, and people didn't give them a pass on that one. But I did personally.
Technical issues or mechanical issues?
Mechanical.
Okay.
Rather. But it was technical in the sense that.
This thing doesn't work.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
That's how, because I was fighting Girahim, and I would like, he'd be blocking he'd be blocking away, so I had to go like,
you had to go like this
above diagonal, and I would raise my Wiimote to go to the above diagonal position. He would swipe up, and then he would counter that and attack. It's just like I was trying to like. There's a difference between this and this. Yeah. It's like that's just the that's a mechanical issue because it's baked in that you use motion controls. That's not a it's technically a technical issue as well because the technology doesn't work.
Yes.
But it could have been avoided had there just been an option to not have the motion control.
The thing with me, in my
So that's a
mind,
mechanical issue.
it was a Zelda game. I was like,
Yeah.
cool. I haven't gotten a new Zelda game since really Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
And so it was like, sweet, a new Zelda game. I was like, I don't care if they're following the same formula as always. It's a new Zelda game. I'm going to play it no matter what. I got it day one and played it religiously until I beat it. I still have the golden Wiimote from getting the collector's edition
with the Motion Plus built in.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And it was like the first one that had Motion Plus built in, or I
Mhm.
might be wrong on that, but it was like one of the first ones.
They started doing it later, but I think the Skyward Sword was the first one.
Yes.
Like first time it had been bundled.
But I overlooked it. I overlooked any issues I had with that game because it was a new Zelda game and it was Nintendo. And like, I don't know. As you were saying, they're god tiers, so it's like, oh, I'll ignore things with Nintendo. And Nintendo rarely has technical issues.
Well, people will give Skyward Sword shit, but they don't judge Nintendo as a whole, saying they make garbage games. Why would you support them? Whereas like Ubisoft, they make one misstep, and it's like, oh, boycott Ubisoft.
Yes, exactly.
You know what I mean? Because there's just and there's that difference in quality, I think, between a Zelda game and an Assassin's Creed game as well. So I think, despite all Skyward Sword's shortcomings, it's still extremely polished, beautiful, you know, got an incredible soundtrack and whatever, good level design and everything, but people still have issues and say it sucks, but it doesn't technically suck. It just sucks. Yeah. It sucks relatively.
It's relative, yes.
Whereas an Assassin's Creed game, people say it sucks, and they kind of consider like, no, this game is unplayable, and it's like,
well,
it's all relative. You know, is it Duck Dynasty the video game, or is it? You know,
well, I think it's similar to people's issues with Call of Duty.
Oh yeah.
I think the way that they developed the Assassin's Creed games is they had separate studios working on the next, like still Ubisoft, but separate studios.
Well, yeah, you had Montreal and you had
yes.
Shoot, I forget them all, but Toronto.
Even though they were releasing Assassin's Creed games every year, it was a different studio working on it.
Well, and the teams were they would help, but the teams were so big. It was less a different team and more just, okay, now the focus is on this studio. All the studios are still helping. It's just this studio is kind of taking Montreal is taking the blunt of it this time. Toronto is this time, you know, whatever is, you know.
And sorry, Alex just sent me a photo that I won't share. But like with Call of Duty, they have 3 separate studios, so they release a Call of Duty every year, but it's a separart game.
I think the recent Call of Duty gets almost more of a pass from annualizing. People still give it shit, but it's because it's very defined. This is Treyarch. This is Infinity Ward. This is Sledgehammer. Whereas Assassin's Creed game comes out and it sucks, and you just see Ubisoft.
Yeah.
You'll see a Ubisoft Paris production, but what you see is just Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Because it's a different studio, but it's still called Ubisoft. Whereas Call of Duty, it's like it's a different studio, and it's still Activision or, you know, whatever, but it's very clear from the get-go, this is a separate studio, where I think, you know, it's all about the vocabulary.
And you have people who are just like, okay, well, this is Treyarch, and Treyarch made the Black Ops series, so I like them.
They kind of each have their own feeling too.
Yes. This is Infinity Ward. They made the Modern Warfare series, and I love those games.
Ghosts and Infinite Warfare.
Well, everyone ignores Ghosts, and Infinite Warfare is good too.
Well, I like the campaign of Infinite Warfare. I just thought the player sucked, but
I didn't play any of the multiplayer.
Well, we can get in that conversation, but
but as you're saying, it's easy to tell the differences between the studios. Whereas with Assassin's Creed games, you just think it's Ubisoft.
Yeah.
And that's the issue. And I don't think they necessarily have to fix it because they don't annualize the games anymore.
Well, I think the thing that kind of bums me out about Origins is that it doesn't look like the extra year was spent polishing. It feels like the extra year is spent making it look prettier.
It very well could be, but
it's just like it doesn't feel. Oh, and it also doesn't feel like I feel like if you take a year off, you need to come back with something not radically different, but different enough to where people look at this and they go, "Whoa, this is Assassin's Creed now." Or I think at E3 when they came out with that demo, everyone's like, "Oh, this is Assassin's Creed, just a little different."
I think
it's more of an RPG this time. Again,
and again, it's another thing with how game development works.
yeah,
When does it releases in October?
yeah, October 27th because it comes
Okay.
out the same day as Mario Odyssey and Wolfenstein 2.
So they showed a trailer in June.
Yes.
That is not the finished product. That is nowhere near the finished product.
Yeah, I guess you could, yeah.
And it was the same thing that happened with Watch Dogs. They showed all those trailers for Watch Dogs 1. That was nowhere near the finished product. That was nothing.
At the same time, the first show they showed was 3 years before the game actually, or no, 2 years before the game actually.
Yeah.
It's 2 years. Yeah, it's 2 years. Because 2012 was when you first saw it.
But the thing is, the trailers that get released several months in advance, gameplay, quote unquote, are nothing what the finished products are. Similar.
I would say nothing, but
they're similar, but not what the finished product.
Yeah, the finished product will probably perform better, look better.
Yes.
It's more of a natural whatever as a flow.
I think that it might have been Funhouse that was saying this, but again, Funhouse being the source, so it's not a legitimate source or whatever. But I think with like how Naughty Dog does it is they have a team, or how Funhouse put it, Naughty Dog might have a team that works on their E3 demo. Like,
yeah,
this is what the E3 demo is going to look like. We're going to polish this and make it look as good as possible.
It's a vertical slice.
Yes.
They try to make that vertical slice as clean as possible because it's a commercial for their game.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So, like, we were getting stuff for Uncharted 4 2-3 years prior, and we were seeing gameplay like a year prior, and it was like, man, it's so well polished, blah, blah, blah. They probably spent a lot of their time working on that one slice, and then we're continuing past that point. So that was probably the only really finished part of the game.
I think the thing with Naughty Dog, though, is that when they have an E3 demo and it looks really amazing and polished and everything, it's like, we got to make the whole game, look as good, if not better than this. Well, if you look at the original demo for Uncharted 4 and the finished product looks better.
Yes.
Like a lot better. And that's just how Uncharted, like how Naughty Dog works. It's like, I think they look at their E3 demo. It's like, our game cannot look the same or worse than this.
Yes.
Like, it just can't.
Yes.
Because people are going to notice. Because Naughty Dog the thing with Naughty Dog, too, is that the people making The Lost Legacy are also not the people working on The Last of Us Part 2.
No,
and,
not at all.
Because Neil Druckmann said, like, I can't wait to play an Uncharted game I had nothing to do with. And it's like, it's still the same studio, but, like, a lot of the figureheads had nothing. Like, this is, I don't want to say, like, the B team, but it's, it's still Naughty Dog, but it's not Neil Druckmann, Bruce Straley, and all that.
I'm curious on the quality of it and how long they've been working on it, because
not to derail it, but like it started off as just standalone DLC similar to Left Behind.
Yes.
And then it started getting bigger and bigger, and they're just like, screw it. This is its own. This is just a game. This is just a $40. This is an Uncharted game that doesn't have a number on the end.
Interesting.
So it is an Uncharted game. So. It's just, I think the reason it's not numbered or anything is because it doesn't like, it's basically Uncharted 4.5 in a way from a graphical mechanical standpoint. It doesn't change anything like Uncharted 4 did, like compared to 3, and 3 did to 2, and 2 did to 1. It's just kind of more in 4 style. Just stories and places are different.
Yeah. And I think a thing that probably helped them a lot with this game is they had all of the assets from Uncharted 4. So I think that probably sped up production a decent amount, and they were able to just they could take a smaller team and use all of the assets from 4 and make this thing.
You still need writers, a director, obviously, and people to make it, but it doesn't require the full hands-on deck treatment that Uncharted 4 probably had.
Yes, and they had to update their engine from 3 to 4.
And obviously, I think they want to make it look prettier because it's
2 years,
a year
and a half.
Yeah, a year and a half later. So obviously, I think they want it to look prettier. I think they're just not saying it's $40 because it's their way of saying, hey, this is a full game, but at the same time, don't expect too much out of it because it's not, a brand spanking new from the ground up made Uncharted game.
Yeah, and I'm still excited for it. I'll
I'm gonna
get
buy
it, and I'll enjoy my time with it. Like
Well,
I
the thing
do.
with Lost Legacy, it also comes with the multiplayer for Uncharted 4.
Oh, really?
So, like, if you don't have Uncharted 4, you can buy the Lost Legacy and still play the multiplayer.
Interesting. Well, if you don't have Uncharted 4, then what are you doing?
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't. It's like I don't understand people who own a PS4 and don't have Uncharted 4. It's like this is the one game you need. This is literally the one that you get with your PS4. Like if you had to get anything else, you know.
I get why people don't.
I mean, people might not be. Maybe people see the 4 and they're like, "Well, I haven't played the other 3 or whatever." Or maybe they go, "I just want to play Call of Duty and Madden." But it's like,
but I'm also I'm very impartial when it comes to the Naughty Dog games because I'm just like, you should get this game. It's a lot of fun. Story is great.
Well, I just think Naughty Dog's the standard for gaming, and as a narrative medium, I should say.
Narrative, yes. Gameplay, no.
Oh yeah, and they're not like they're not breaking any of the laws and changing gaming in a fundamental way. No. It's still very polished and amazing and fun. Yeah. It's just you're buying these games for the story.
Like, if I want to buy a game for fun, I tend to go Nintendo. Nintendo is gameplay first.
Yeah, I would just say like, but then I think about The Last of Us and how incredible the gameplay is in The Last of Us. How it managed to be a horror game, but also like I've never felt so much tension playing just like a third-person action game that's not officially classified as a horror game, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like that's because they knew what they were doing. They knew how to like raise the stakes and make combat feel tense and realistic. And so I think that I'd say like don't discount them as like they still make incredible gameplay experiences.
Oh yeah, no, I don't think that their gameplay is crappy, but like for example, if you were to take
I also don't think it's fair to say it's nothing to write home about because like it's still very incredible.
But if you were to take if someone was saying I want to play a video game to have fun, and you have Doom and you have Uncharted 4, Doom 2016, play Doom 2016.
Well, the grappling hook's pretty fun.
I don't care. I would say pick Doom 2016 because that game, from gameplay, polish, story is whatever.
I mean, that's the joy.
Generic, but it was fun.
That's the point.
Yes. But I would say if you want a game for fun, play Doom. If you want a game for great story, play Uncharted.
I say if you want a video game, play Uncharted. I'm very biased.
Fair enough,
but yeah. But like I want to dial it back without it sounding awkward. But I guess you could say like speaking of games that are fun from a purely gameplay perspective, recently there was an open beta for the game Lawbreakers made by Bosky Studios, directed by Cliff Bleszinski, formerly of Epic Games, creator of the Unreal Tournament and Gears of War series. That was a very long title, but I don't know. It was kind of meme, but it was a goof. But it's a fun game. But I actually have a couple issues with Lawbreakers.
He also worked on Jackrabbit 2.
Yeah. But
I follow him on Twitter, so
yeah. But I have issues with the game.
Yes.
None of them are actually with the gameplay. It's more of just the UI and the menus suck.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to say it. The menus are garbage. They're fine from a design perspective, but sometimes the buttons are unresponsive. It takes a while. Because I remember one time I was trying to leave a match, and it's like hold square to leave a match, or like in the lobby, and I'd hold square and it'd go like tick, 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 tick. Like it wasn't actually doing like the full circle. It was just kind of like
that happened.
I'm like okay, like whatever. I'm like this is, and then you'll be pressing down or up, and there's a lot of input lag, and it's like.
And like if you wanted to, and I didn't do it all that much because I like Wraith too much, but switching from character to character, you go to click switch character, it takes about 3 or 4 seconds for that to even pop up, and then you try and go over, and
you have to go on a character, wait, wait for them to show up, and then press X.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, well, I just want to jump into a match and play as Wraith, so I just match starts, boop, 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 X, 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 X. Okay, now we can go.
Yeah.
Yeah, where it's like, you get a game like Overwatch, and it's just you press up for a character like bio or like info, and it's right there. Whereas you press the button to bring up the character information for this, and you go like, okay, wait a second, don't shoot me, don't shoot me, don't shoot me. Okay, this, okay, and then down. Okay, wait, okay, now back in.
The thing is, I do have to give Boss Key Studios a pass because there is a distinct difference between Boss Key Studios and Blizzard.
I know, but it's just like, it's a little frustrating to have a game that's so tight. You know, it's very tight mechanically, but these menus just like they're just a slog. You think the entire game should have the consistency of just everything's just fast all the time. Boom, 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 boom. And the menu's just like, I know it's so dumb, but when you just go to a match and it's just a slog, you're kind of just like, oh, is the whole game like this? And then you actually get in a game like, oh, this is actually really fun and amazing. So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did have some issues, and I understand why they were this way with gameplay. So one thing that really wasn't, and I think I figured it out, but it didn't seem spelt out to me, with health packs, knowing their recharge rate. I think I figured out eventually that it was like you can use them, and then if you're out of combat for a certain amount of time, then they'll come back.
Well, you know there are like health regen stations.
Yes, I know that too, but I'm saying like, if I'm in the middle of a fight and like I'm in one of the mid-open areas and I think, okay, I think
it'd be nice if they marked it on your HUD or something like that. Oh, like not even like at least the health station. Or they show like a countdown saying like because I think Doom might do this. Overwatch definitely does.
Overwatch does it, and that's why. And I think if Overwatch didn't do it, I probably wouldn't want that. But it's just
it would be a nice touch. It
was frustrating because I would get to a health pack and I'd be like, okay, I need this so that I can get back into the fight.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to go all the way back to my base to recharge health. The one in the middle of the map is a little too, a little too dangerous. I just want to get the health packs that are kind of in the middle, which very good map design in Lawbreakers.
Yes.
But it's like it is a little. I think the health station should be marked because sometimes when you jump into a map for the first time, you're like, I can't find any health. Like I don't know where to go. Like I'll just look around for a while and get killed. I guess it's part of the learning curve, but at the same time, when you're in the middle of a firefight, you're not thinking, okay, I need to like back up and I know exactly where to go for the health station. Sometimes you're thinking of like, I just need to kill this guy, but I also need to know where the health station is so I can get out of this situation quickly once I kill this guy.
Yes.
So I don't want to be wasting time going, where's that again? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that, and that kind of, and I think it added to the franticness of that game. It felt very much like I need to go fast. I need to get to where I need to get to. I need to kill who I need to get to. I need to get this objective. I need to get back. Yes, you're Sonic. But like, and I played 5-ish hours of the game. I was the Wraith for about 4.5 of those hours.
Yeah, my first class I tried was the Gunslinger.
Yes, yeah.
That's a really fun class too.
I just wasn't good with aiming with him.
Yeah, well, I love the Gunslinger because it's there's so many parallels you can draw between this game and Overwatch.
Yes.
But they are different game. They're different enough to where they're like unique from each other. Where but the Gunslinger is a lot like if McCree was fused with Tracer. But it sounds weird, but when you actually start playing as Gunslinger, getting used to it, you're like, oh, this is actually a very genius character. Because what you can do is you can hit them with the revolver and it does a lot of damage, and then pepper them with the submachine gun and can finish them off if you're like, I just need this guy to die right now, and I just can't aim right now. I'm in a hectic situation or whatever, and keep moving. So if you get that one good hit and then, teleport in, shoot him, and then teleport back, it's like, it feels very good. And he's also very good like as a ranged character. It's like a sniper.
The amount of times that I got killed by him and I had no idea where he was at was pretty substantial.
You see that laser and you're just like, oh shit.
Yeah. Another issue, and I don't know if it was like a me issue, and I'd like to think it isn't because I have Google Chrome or Google Fiber rather, and so I have the fastest internet I've ever had in my life. There were times where I'd be a solid my connection would be at
Good ping.
60. Yeah, I had 60 ping or whatever, and that's like the one that you want, or like
it's it's above average.
Yes. But there would be times, and I don't know if it was just on a me thing, but it was like very random times. It would suddenly pop up to like 500, and I just had to stand still and could not move. Now, it definitely might have been a me thing.
I think it was because Cliffy B tweeted a picture showing like the input, or it was a, I think it was just like
lag.
It was the tick rate.
Yes. Yeah.
And so, and it's like the lowest out of like any shooter on the market. I think
it was equal to. Let me see.
No, it is lower than anything else.
I'm just gonna look it up.
I know that's not like paying or anything, but it's still like they're very focused on trying to get this to be a very like this works.
Yes.
And so I think that might have been just you. I mean, I had a couple of spots. I had one time where I lagged, but it wasn't like game breaking. It was kind of just like, oh, that was weird. Anyway, moving on.
So it's about equal to equal to Overwatch on the PC.
Okay. But for like a console shooter, that's like.
But he's comparing it to fully released games, except for Quake. And
for like an independent studio, it's like that's pretty impressive.
It's faster than CS:GO, faster than Titanfall 2, and faster than Quake.
Well, CS:GO's tick rate is garbage for like the kind of game that is. It's like I'm surprised they don't update that more.
Yeah, but it is better, I guess, than Overwatch, but it's about equal to Overwatch.
It's close but better.
Yes.
Well, is it like close but better on PS4 or close but better on PC?
It says PC. Okay. But it doesn't specify Lawbreakers if they're talking PC or PS4.
Yeah. But like I do think like I just have to say Lawbreakers is very impressive.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very impressive game.
Yes.
Because like it's fun to play and it works really well and things just like there's never a time where I get killed. I'm like, that didn't feel right. You know, it's very skill based. There are times where you're like, that feels a little overpowered, but at the same time, it's like that's just how I am with every shooter ever.
Well, another issue I had, and it makes sense why it's not in the game. Be times where, for example, I'd be playing Blitzball, and I would be trying to get to the objective base. I would try and get into that tiny little alcove where they usually like have the checkpoint. And unless I had my slide, I would be flying right above the doorway.
I think that's just a matter of
crouch. But I want to be able to drop myself, and I understand why it's not in there.
I mean, some characters can though.
But like
that's the thing. That's just part of the character.
Okay, but I understand why it wouldn't be a thing because there would be instances where, let's say, I'm in the middle area where it's all 0G, and people are just pressing the crouch button and dropping all the way down and then flying straight back up.
It kind of ruins the point. It will also like it would take away from the characters where like that's their thing is they can just drop to the ground, like the Titan and the Enforcer.
I didn't know that was a thing because I think I played Gunslinger.
Yeah, the Titan has a ground slam, and so and then the Enforcer can just drop straight down.
Okay.
So like that's why they're special is because like they're very slow, but they can maneuver more in 0G.
Okay, that makes sense.
Whereas a character like Wraith, the whole point is as fast as possible. So it's like when you're bumping into corners and stuff like that's on you. You know, like you gotta get good at that stuff.
Yeah.
And so I kind of like that because I look at like. There'll be a time where like I slide and I get the ball and I jump and then I hit a wall. I'm like, man, I can't wait till I get good enough with this character where I can like figure out how to just not do that. And,
there would be certain maps where I would figure out, okay, this is the
fastest way to get to whatever.
Yes, the direction I need to
take. I love doing the Wraith because when you do the double jump, he moves forward faster.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like a nice little subtle like because you would slide and then jump and then double jump, you're going even faster. And by the time you hit the ground, your slides recharge and you slide again, you jump and you're just.
Yeah.
You're just Oh, I feel so good.
And it definitely had that movement where the charge time on slide would tie directly in how
It was
fast you do your
perfect.
jumps.
Yeah,
So
I
it was
love
like you could slide and then you could jump 3 times and then your slide would be
the
recharged by
cooldowns
that.
felt perfect for me.
Yes,
Like on
yes.
all the characters I played, the cooldowns never felt like come on, come on, come on. It felt like okay,
Mhm.
this is a reasonable amount of time. The wait or
There would
whatever.
be one or two instances, but
But it's a
it
matter
was
of
just
getting
because I would
good.
mess. Yeah, it would be
Whereas in
I would
Destiny
mess
2
up.
beta, I'm like, I've died like 5 times. Where's my grenade? like, I used it once at the beginning, and we're almost halfway through. Where's my grenade?
Mhm.
So, yeah, that's why. Yeah, Lawbreakers is just very. They know what they're doing with that.
Yeah, and I also think an issue with Destiny is your gear directly affects
Well, that's the thing I
how
think is cool
things
about
work.
Destiny.
So, but
That's the part I love about Destiny is like the stuff you get in
yes,
the single player matters everywhere. The stuff you get in
yes,
multiplayer matters everywhere.
but like
It
I
might be
think a,
tailored for a specific experience, but you can still use it and whatever and gain specific
I
perks from it.
I think a
But it also
fix,
does kind of make things feel a little cheap sometimes. Like, oh, that guy just killed me because he has this thing
and I
because he
think a
plays
fix. Well, it was
whatever.
like the example with Thorn in the
Mhm.
first game. It was
Like you
just
just got
like
that because you're lucky and you're killing me every
yeah,
turn and
exactly. It
those
does
bursts.
that burn damage at the end, which gets me that tiny
Poison
little
damage.
bit. That gets me that tiny little bit that kills me.
Yeah.
But with Lawbreakers, everything is on an even table, so it's
Mhm.
definitely skill based, which is
Well, and it's
good.
like, yeah, and when something kills you, you're not like, wow, that person got lucky and whatever. It's like, no, that's just how that character works and
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. And I
Like when you
think it
get killed
was
by the battle medic's grenade launcher, you're not like, damn you, grenade launchers. You're like,
mm,
okay, I need to learn how to counter that.
yeah, and I think it was very well balanced because there would be
Yeah.
situations where I'd go up against the big tanky guys, but because I was so fast, they couldn't hit me. But if
Time
they
to
got
kill is very slim, but it felt right. You never like when you go into a room and there's 10 guys. Oh, like not 10 guys, obviously, but like you get killed immediately and their whole team's there. Like, okay, that's why I died so fast.
yeah, yeah.
It never feels like Call of Duty sometimes does. Where you're like, how did he kill me so fast? I was already shooting him. Sometimes it's like,
Um,
well, that's just the character shoots faster, or whatever. It's like gotta learn how to counter that. Whereas Call of
another
Duty, it's like it's just a matter of what gun they're using, and you can't tell on the fly what gun they're using. Here, it's like you see that character, you're like, okay, I know what to do against this character.
another issue I had was, and it only ever happened a handful of times, but there would be occasions where I would, and it might just be because it's beta or whatever, but I would join games, they'd be losing, and then I'd get a loss. So my win loss ratio,
Yeah, that's the one thing.
I had about 6 or 7
Oh, I only
losses
won like 2 matches my entire
specifically.
time playing.
Oh no, I was fairly consistently winning, but
Here's the thing. Oh, sorry, I'll let you finish. But
the majority of my losses were I would join a match, they would have 15 out of the 16 checkpoints or whatever. We would have like 2 because someone left. I would join in, and then it would be an immediate loss. So
well,
win loss
yeah,
ratio doesn't really matter. It's the beta, but
yeah.
it shows on my thing. I had like a 1.2 or something like that, and in reality, I lost probably.
No, my win loss was terrible.
I lost maybe 3 or 4
Yeah.
matches compared to my like 15 wins, maybe. So, but
Well, my
on the
win loss
thing,
was
it looked good.
terrible in that game,
Yeah.
and I think one thing it's really missing is a report button or like a vote to kick option
Mm-hmm.
because the reason I lost so many games is because it felt like almost every other match I was joining, someone was AFK
Yes.
or someone would just leave early,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, well, guess we lost this one, boys. Because like I would die, and then you'd see what your team's doing, and it would just cut to someone who's just in the spawn doing nothing, and you're like, okay. But I
Another
think that
thing.
might get weeded out because it was an open beta, and like
Yes.
that's what I was saying. It's the double-edged sword with betas. Is like you get the very enthusiastic people who care too much and see no wrong. You get the people in the middle who are excited but will like give good feedback, and you get the people on just the I don't give a shit. It's a free thing to play.
Yeah. And I think another issue is, and again, I'm spoiled because of Overwatch. I want a
Triple-edged sword.
attack the objective
Oh yeah.
button because there would be times where
Yeah.
I'd be the only, or a group up or something.
Well, there is a button that says, "Hey, come help me out," but that's it.
But
Right on the
I
D-pad.
guess I didn't recognize
Right on the
that.
D-pad, it's just like, hey, I need help. But
But
like, you don't see any like chat moniker or like anything.
yes.
It's just like you know, if you didn't hear it, then too
But
bad.
I wish there was a button because there would be times where I'd be playing like the charge the uplink or whatever,
Yeah, uplink.
and
Well, there's overcharge and there's uplink.
it was uplink. And it would be a
Overdrive, I don't know.
situation where it was like they were all at their uplink, they were all protecting it. My team would just funnel in one at a time, and
Mm-hmm.
I had no way of communicating. Hey, if we all group up and we
Classic
get
Battlefield and
yes,
Overwatch does, is guilty of this too.
but
Where
the
you'll
thing
just be
with
playing against a team, and everyone's just going one by. Oh, there goes Widowmaker. There goes Tracer.
yes.
There goes Winston. Oh,
But the thing with Overwatch is it at least has the ability where I can spam my team and be like, "Hey,
yeah.
group
You
up."
can just sit outside spawn right where they walk out and say, "Hey, group up, group up, group up, group up,"
Yes,
and then maybe you won't get everybody, but you'll at least get like one or two people who are listening.
exactly.
Whereas
And
Lawbreakers, it's like, get
deal with
good.
it. Yeah, deal with
Yeah,
it.
like. And well, the one thing I appreciate about Lawbreakers, the reason I don't think there ever will be a crush button, is because teabagging. Did you ever get teabagged? Was there ever a moment where you felt like, damn them, that asshole? You know, like that's the thing. Like it feels there's definitely a tude to the game,
Mhm.
but it never felt like in your face. Like maybe when you get the boot, but that's the whole point of like
Yes.
getting kicked. Like oh, it's a special thing. Like it makes me feel good when I do this because I know they could see like, ha, you got meleeed.
Mhm.
But at the same time, it's not like gun game in Call of Duty where it's like demoted or whatever. It's just like, hey, you screwed up,
Mhm.
whatever.
Yeah.
Whereas, and like you can't get teabagged, so you're not like, ah, fuck that guy. Like, what a piece of shit. You know, there's never that moment where it's like, if someone kills you over and over and over again, you go, man, they need a life. Or, you know, that might be like the worst thing you think about. It's like, I'm play another game, scrub, or whatever.
Mhm. Yeah.
But you never go, wow, that person is just bad manners.
And I think teabagging definitely doesn't, in my mind, have the same implication as it used to have.
Well, to me, it just means disrespect.
I
Like it's just disrespectful, and
I
so
I
it's just
think
like I got
well,
you.
the thing with teabagging in my mind now is it only ever happens to me in situations where like there's no reason for it to have happened.
Well, that's
Like if
almost
that
when it
makes
pisses me off
sense.
the most. Where you're just like, why? Like
Yeah.
what?
Um,
Okay, you're 12.
like
I
there would
get
be a
it.
situation where it's like I clearly was going to lose no matter what, and
Yeah,
then I get teabagged, and I'm like, well, you didn't like
you didn't do anything special there, bud. You
me
know, like
me killing you was only going to gain a 2 second window where I was just going to get killed
or there
anyway.
was one where like they sneak up on me and I turn around and get maybe like one shot on them and they kill me. And it's
Yeah,
like, yeah, you were gonna kill. Like, there's nothing I could have done in this
yeah,
situation.
yeah.
You did nothing special. You got me.
Hmm.
And so that's when I'm like, okay, you're 12. I see how this is.
But it doesn't bother me as much as it used to be. And I mean, when I teabag, I do it comedically. I
Well,
don't
yeah,
mean it.
I've been playing Injustice 2, and there was one I joined a match and I just forgot all the combos, and so I just kind of just teabagged the entire match because I'm like, hey, just kill me, just kill me. Like this is the sign of I just kill me. I don't care what happens to me. But then there was a match I was playing Injustice 2, because you know how like there's gear and stuff.
Yeah.
People are fuck asses when it comes to that. Holy shit. When you're starting off and you're level 1 and people are level 20, they do, like, because there's competitive mode which you can turn on when you're playing just normal unranked matches, which makes it so, like, none of the gear stats matter. You're just on an even playing field. People
Yeah.
just wouldn't. And this is before I knew how much they'd affect the match.
Mm.
And there was one where I was seriously having a perfect match. And then I looked at his health bar, and I had hardly made a dent because his gear stats were so high. And then he's teabagging the entire time, and he's dead shot, and he's shooting me. And I'm like, oh,
I think
okay,
that's why I'm
you're a
glad I
piece of
didn't
shit. You know, like, you're just a piece of shit.
game. Yeah.
Because I wrote a review, if I get, because I was going to, if I, on the DL, if I get this job I was thinking about, I was just going to like, hey, I already wrote a couple reviews, here you go. And Injustice 2 is one of them. And I wrote in that review, I'm like, this should just be on by default, and you can turn it off if you want. Stats on to make things like this is how you make it interesting. You know, like it's the turning it off should make things interesting, not having to turn it on.
The thing with
I love
that
it,
though
that's
is
like my biggest issue.
In that concept, it's not skill based. Then, if I just play a long time and I get good gear and my gear is better than them, I win.
Yeah,
no matter what.
This so that's why I think
more skilled.
That's why I think competitive mode should just be on all the time, and you can turn it off. You can turn it off in unranked, but you can't in ranked. That's what I would say. Like, it's always on, but in unranked, you can play with the rules, set custom rules, whatever you want. But in ranked, UV is, you know, skill versus skill, no matter what. Like, there's no custom rules here. There are no custom rules. Because, like, Injustice 2 is so good, though. Like, oh my god. I
couldn't justify paying the $60 for it. I got Injustice 1 for free, and then I got
it's a meaty ass game though.
Like, the
meatiest fighting game I've ever played.
I'm just not you know me, I'm not really into fighters. So.
You're not willing. Well, I'm not saying that you're not willing, but I'm like, I couldn't see you dedicating 20 hours to a specific character to get really good and learn the combos. No. You know, like learning the frames and everything. That where I would.
The only game, and even then, I mean, you know my skill compared to like you and Alex or whatever. You think you guys are gods, and then you play against Calvin and you get your butts kicked, and you're like, oh, what do I do? But
I don't remember that happening.
It did, but
in Injustice
anyway.
1?
No, Smash Bros.
Oh, well, I mean Injustice, bro.
But I'm just saying, Smash Bros. Smash Bros. is right. Smash Bros. Is the only fighting game that I would.
Yeah, it's not even like a lot of people. It's a lot of people in the fighting game community just call it a brawler.
Yeah, it's a brawler. But like that's, I mean, I played Injustice. I've played Mortal Kombat, but I mean, so I got Injustice 1 free on the 360.
Was that
my brother bought it for me?
Okay,
birthday present. And then
you and I played together, but I didn't. Yeah.
Yes. But then I paid on PS4. It was like $2.
Yeah, I did the same thing. It was like $7.50 one day. I'm like, well, whatever, why not?
Yes, and so I got it
again.
But, yeah.
Oh my god, Nightwing!
But like I've been wanting MKX for forever, and it's just never dropped low enough for me to.
It was like $15 at one point, and I got.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I missed it then. Damn.
Must have, because I bought it when it's that was why I bought it at one point. It was really cheap digitally. It'll be cheap again. Like it's pretty good.
Yeah, I played a bit of it and watched a bit of it.
But well, sorry to go back, but like Nightwing, holy shit-o. In Injustice 1. I got so good with Nightwing. I would get angry. I remember getting angry messages on Xbox Live from people when I was playing online with.
Oh yeah, you did Nightwing for Xbox.
They're like, how come you never let me out of the corner? It's like, get out of the corner then. Get good. You know, like knock me out. I dare you. Because there's this one kid who's just like, it's not fair. And I was telling him like, hey, here's how to counter my Nightwing, and we were like going back and forth and whatever. I'm like, hey, this is fun. And I was really sad that Nightwing wasn't in Injustice 2.
Oh yes.
Like, here's what fucking pisses me off about Injustice 2 again. It has loot boxes, which is like, it's fine, whatever, because you get gear, and it's like you're always getting something. You're usually almost always getting something useful for some character. If you're like leveled up with them, you're pretty much almost guaranteed at one point to get something good for them. There's a fly, but there are abilities that you can only get through loot boxes.
Okay.
And an ability for Robin is the staff, Nightwing staff, which enables him to play just like Nightwing.
Oh jeez.
And I'm like, fuck you! Like, just let me play as Nightwing.
Keep on talking. I gotta plug in my laptop. It's running low.
Okay, and then there's also Catwoman. There's a trophy for Catwoman that revolves around getting an ability. There's heavy echo, but whatever. There's a trophy that involves getting an ability from a loot box. Like, you can only get this ability from a loot box, and there's a trophy tied to using it. And it's like, Ed Boon, why? Why did you do this, Ed Boon?
They really did that?
Yep. That's like, because there's just a bunch of easy trophies where it's like, finish the match using this ability, or like this special move, or this finishing move. And there's only one that's like, finish a match using this move. I'm like, I can't find this move in her her move set at all. And I looked it up online. It's like, yeah, I have to get it from a loot box. I'm like, that is bullshit.
So it's basically you have a random drop that could possibly come from hundreds, I'm assuming, of items.
Yeah, I've unboxed because I think there's a stat, and like I know I've unboxed at least a few hundred.
Yeah,
and it's like this is bullshit. And I'm looking. It'd be nice if you could select a character to focus on.
Yeah.
And just be like, hey, I just want to unlock. I want to mostly unlock stuff for this character, so that way you have a higher chance.
I feel like that would be broken though, because if you were to do
people,
that,
people who just main a specific character. Like, I only want loot for this character because this is the only character I play as, and they can just get the best loot ever.
Yes, yeah.
But it'd be nice if you could just like choose someone as like, I want a higher chance of loot for this character.
I don't know if I agree with that necessarily. I understand the demand for it. Like,
well, I mean, it doesn't matter if you're playing competitive mode. So it's like, it's all because there's the metaverse, which is single player, and that's where like the gear is really important. I say like, why not just, make it broken? Because there's still some points where like you can have the best loot in the game, but you're still gonna get your ass kicked if you're not good.
I don't know. I feel like with that, there should be like, okay, you can get unlocks for single player, and that's just by like playing as those characters in single player, and then there's separate unlocks.
Well, you can get loot just by playing the game. Like, you'll win a match, and it'll say, hey, stuff acquired.
I think they should be separate. I think they should be separate. I don't think that single player should affect multiplayer.
It's not like Destiny.
But again, this is coming from someone who hasn't
played. No, like the stats don't matter that much in multiplayer. You might it might be like I said, like where you get some asshole who doesn't want to turn on competitive mode and you can't win the match because of it. But it's literally like a win-lose situation. Whereas in single player, it's like you'll get perks like there's a piece of armor I got for Batman where it's like if he uses grapple next to an arena transition, you'll automatically transition them. And like that works in multiplayer too, but like you're not, it doesn't really matter if people turn on competitive mode, it doesn't count. So it's mainly meant for just to give you an edge in the metaverse.
Yeah.
And then I got one for Supergirl that has her turns her laser vision into from red lasers to purple lasers, and they do extra. Her lasers do more damage now. It's more of like a passive thing, and it is bullshit when you get people like that in multiplayer. But you can easily avoid it if you just play ranked.
Okay.
But there's a trophy for winning 50 unranked matches, which I got. But now there's a trophy for just playing 200 online matches. Yeah. There is a trophy for dethroning a king in King of the Hill with a specific special move from Harley Quinn. I'm like, fuck you. It's hard enough to dethrone the king, but to do it with a character that not everyone's going to play as and just using a specific move, but you can boost for it. So
I'm always not a big fan of online multiplayer trophies.
Yeah, they suck. Never do them.
Especially very specific ones.
Because this is like dethrone the king using Harley Quinn's blah 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 move. I'm like, that's
well, so I need to stop going back to this. But for example,
Overwatch.
Yes, I have put way more time in that game than I would like to admit.
I mean, that's only multiplayer, though, so what do you expect them to do?
But I put days in it. And yes, it makes sense in that. But the amount of time that I've put in Overwatch, I could have gotten trophies and beaten however many other games.
I see what you mean. Yeah,
I haven't been, and it's like, okay, well, this one specific character, make sure, like, for example, Widowmaker. I'm trashed with Widowmaker.
Yeah.
Use the grappling hook, get in midair, headshot someone, and kill them. Full health. I don't know if it's necessarily full health or not, but
it's like headshot somebody. I think
headshot someone in midair. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is, and it's like
I can hardly headshot someone. Period.
Yeah.
Like what?
Or the Lucio one where it's don't die and boot or knock 3 people.
Stay on the wall and kill 3 people without touching the floor.
People. Yes, exactly.
It's kill 3 people without touching the floor. I don't think you have to be wall running.
No, basically, what you can do, I've seen, is you can boot people off, then jump onto the wall, but it's still just like I could have.
It's like, when are you going to get that opportunity? And
Yeah.
I just hate trophies. If it's like get to level 50 in multiplayer, okay, I'm there.
Yes.
But if it's kill 3 people while wall riding as Lucio without dying. It's like not happening ever.
It's like,
sorry.
well, what if I suck at Lucio?
What if I'm just good at healing with
great,
Lucio?
Yeah,
like that's why I play as Lucio, because I just like his passive healing.
Trying to think of another game, but like Doom, I think Doom does a great job because it's a lot of the trophies are just play this game type or level up,
win a match.
Yeah, exactly.
If it's just win a match, level up, customize your character.
Yeah,
it's like okay, cool. But like when there's one in Battlefield Bad Company 2, I distinctly remember. It's you get 20 demolish kills in multiplayer.
Yeah.
And it's hard enough to get one because you know what that is?
I don't, but
you have to, because you know how you can destroy buildings in Bad Company 2?
Yeah.
You have to get kills, you have to get 20 kills doing that. And it's just like, you're lucky if you get one. I think in my entire history of playing that game, I've gotten maybe 6 or 7.
Yeah,
and maybe like 3 of those were during the beta, like before it came out. It's like
an issue with multiplayer trophies, especially like for example, I will never platinum Unity, Assassin's Creed Unity, because no one's gonna play online with me.
Well, and I'm never gonna platinum Destiny 1 because I only need Flawless Raider. That's the only one I need. But
someone
it's like
boosted me for that, so
like. Once Destiny 2 comes out, who the hell is going to be playing Destiny 1?
Yeah, exactly. No,
that would want to boost you,
I wouldn't be able to do it, but before,
so I kind of just said F it for that.
Basically, I was in a situation where it was, well, 1, we cheesed it, 2, it was Crota,
I guess you could try to do it on your, solo it. That'd be my only bet.
Yeah.
Solo it.
Well, that's basically what happened. Basically, I got out of the map in order to despawn things. They cheesed it across the bridge, and then the bridge respawned, and we walked by, and I cowered away for most of it.
Maybe someday I'll go back and try to solo flawless it, but I just, it's tough enough just to solo it. But yeah, shoot. I'm trying to think of other multiplayer trophies that suck. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, I'm never going to, on PS3 at least.
Yeah.
That has multiplayer trophies, and some of them really are real stinkers. Not that I really care, because I think the remastered doesn't even have multiplayer. So,
oh really?
If I really wanted to,
I forgot that the remastered
trilogy.
Yeah, should have got it.
Because I platinumed 2 and Revelations, but not Brotherhood.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to go back at 100% the single player in Brotherhood, but it's like, what's the point if I'm not going to get a platinum? Because I still have the multiplayer, and I don't even think this. Even if the servers are still up, I don't think anyone's going to play. And even if they are playing, these are skill-based multiplayer trophies.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Like, kill 6 characters this certain way in one match.
Back in last place in the last 10 seconds. Nope. I'm either winning or I'm sucking. That's just how I am with multiplayer. But, yeah, that's why I'll always appreciate, or that's why I'll always be more of a single-player first person. Just because, I can just take this at my own pace. I don't have to worry about servers being depopulated or the fan base trickling off or whatever. I can just, if I ever want to come back to it, I can.
Well, do you know who Sugar Pine 7 is? Steven
yeah.
Septic. I listened to their most recent podcast, and James, he bought Advanced Warfare a couple days ago or whatever.
Yeah, Call of Duty. Right?
And and he got a refund because no one was playing that game. He didn't play the story at all. He got it to play multiplayer, and then he was just like, "No one's on this. This game is dead."
I can see the frustration with that because it's like, I understand there are newer Call of Duties, but I want to play this Call of Duty.
Yes, yeah.
I'm buying this game to play it, and part of that game is online.
Yes.
And nobody's playing that online. But also at the same time, it's like you got to do your research,
But that was the thing. He wanted to play that Call.
Exactly. It's like I want to play this game, but I can't.
Or in the Modern Warfare games, I can't go back to Modern Warfare 2 online because of hackers.
Yeah.
I don't want my PlayStation
to play it, but
But you're
gonna get your account reset.
Yes, exactly.
I got that. It happened to me with World at War.
Yeah.
I played it online. I was in a hacked lobby. It wasn't even like hacked XP. It was just like, oh, there's 0 gravity. Ha ha ha. That's funny.
Yeah.
And then I logged on the next day and it's level 1. I'm like, I was level 30 though. Not anymore. I got to keep all my guns though, which was weird. So I'm like, was that Treyarch resetting me or was that just part of the hack? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's why yeah. Even multiplayer trophies that'll like get to level 50 or whatever. It's tough because it doesn't require skill, but it does require people to be playing the game. And so if you come back 10 years after a game came out, and unless it's like Team Fortress 2, you're probably not going to find many people still playing it. And you're probably not going to be able to. Okay, you know how I did like a love letter for Bad Company 2?
Yes. Yeah.
To get footage for that, I went online. And people are still playing that game and having a good time. It's not like it still takes a while to find a match, but like you'll get into one. Yeah. It might not be full, but you'll get into a match and people are having a good time. And it's fun. So, but apparently, like DICE has no idea why people love Bad Company 2, which is just like
make Bad Company 3, and then you'll understand.
I think the fear right now is because Bad Company 3 screams spin-off, or like because Bad Company 2, the whole point of Bad Company 2 is that it's a simpler Battlefield meant for console. And now that Battlefield main whatever is on console, it's like, well, we don't really need a simpler experience. People might not like a simpler experience, but it's like that's what makes Bad Company 2 so fun compared to the other Battlefield games, because it's unique in its simplicity. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah. Trying to think what else we should talk about.
Well, I kind of want to trying to think of other online shit that bothers me. I mean, there's also the issue of like DRM and online connectivity with like single player games where you can only play them if you're online, like Need for Speed.
Yeah.
But it's like, see, my problem with those are like, I don't have a problem if a game wants to be online and single player, as long as there's the option to play it offline. As long as if Xbox Live gets taken down, I can still play this video game.
Yeah, I think For Honor had that issue.
Yeah, and Need for Speed does too. Still, I think. Yeah, that's my only concern with Destiny is like there is single player, you can play it alone, but it's a share. The whole game relies on being around other people in a social environment and missions and everything. So it makes sense for that game to not work offline, but at the same time, it's like, well, it still has a campaign and everything.
I haven't played Destiny since the last DLC came out or whatever. I played the story and stopped. Yeah. Played the story.
I didn't even play Rise of Iron. I was burnt out.
It was all right, but
I heard it was good.
The thing is, after Destiny 2 comes out, Destiny 1's dead.
Yeah,
and that's the thing with yes, again, like you were saying, you play the story mode, but that's not the point.
And the servers will be up, but it's like
but to get like you can't. I mean, you really can't do the raids. You really
good luck getting raid partners.
Yeah, it's like, okay, unless you can get a bunch of friends or whatever. Yeah, but yeah, it's just
those are the only people you're gonna get are the 10-year-olds who, get one game and it's like, oh, mom said I can get this one because it was $5. It's vanilla Destiny.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's an issue with the Destiny series as well. The moment the DLCs come out, you're screwed unless you get the DLCs. Well,
that's my only concern. That's my big going all the way back to Destiny 2 beta. Yeah. Why I didn't like that beta as a beta is because you play it and you go, man, there's hardly anything here. Did they only show so little because the game doesn't have much more? Or did they only show so little because they didn't want to show everything the game had because the game's so big,
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. Hopefully it's definitely bigger because that preview event they did, they showed all the different stuff that you can do and everything. It's like there's definitely more to do, but at the same time, the way I view Destiny 1 is that it's chopped up into bits. Like Destiny Vanilla is, the Darkness campaign. Destiny The Dark Below is Crota campaign. The what was it?
Wolves.
Something
or whatever.
Something of Wolves. Den of Wolves, I think. Anyway, like that's that campaign, and then Taken King was okay. That's the Taken King campaign. You know what I mean? You see what I mean? Like the vanilla game was just one
House of
campaign
Wolves.
among all these different campaigns that eventually get added on.
Yeah,
So
House of
my
Wolves.
House of Wolves. Okay, I was close.
Yeah.
So my concern with Destiny 2 is when I buy this campaign, is this just gonna be one short campaign that's like, you know, like Destiny 1's where you just get this one campaign and then DLC comes on and it's like, okay, now it's this campaign, now it's this campaign.
Yeah.
Because the reason I think that is because the only bad guys you really see in any of the promotional material is the Cabal. And just like Destiny 1, it's like, okay, this is the Hive DLC, this is the Fallen DLC, this is the Vex DLC, you know what I mean?
For example, with World of Warcraft, you can't play vanilla World of Warcraft anymore.
Yeah.
I guess there's fan servers are back up, I believe.
Well, you could play vanilla, but not not the first, not the original.
But I'm saying like they have fan servers or whatever. Those are back.
Yeah, but I mean like vanilla means there's no expansions, not like
the thing with World of Warcraft is how they do it is, okay, you play the first game for 2 or 3 years, or the first section for 2 or 3 years.
The base game.
Yes, and then we release a new one, and then you play that for a couple of years, and then
that's how Destiny 2 kind of is, but more on a monthly scale.
But it allows the game to stay alive, whereas with Destiny, I don't think Destiny has any issue staying alive. But how they release, it's the difference between expansions and DLC. DLC, it just feels like, okay, you didn't put this content in at the beginning. Expansions feel like, okay, we're trying to keep this game alive for longer while we work on other stuff.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, I understand this is a big game, but when you charge me $60 for a campaign, I mean, I understand, you know, it comes with all the other stuff, and then, you know, whatever, you know, blah, blah, blah. But $60 for what may potentially be a very short campaign to only a year later release a $30 or $40 seat that has a campaign of, like, similar length, like Destiny 1, you know, how that happened.
Yeah.
It's like, why did I spend $60 on this? But at the same time, it's like, you have to understand, the $60 gives you all these guns, all this multiplayer, all, you know, like it's the game. It's the base game. It's like when I'd rather pay $60 up front than pay a monthly fee and have to buy expansions.
Yeah. And that's also a big thing. Wow.
That's my problem with MMOs. I'm like, I would like to play an MMO, but I'm just not that committed to any game, let alone an MMO, a genre I hardly dabble in.
Yeah.
I want to get into Final Fantasy 14.
Great game.
But
you don't want to play.
I'm like, I don't even know if I'll like this. So why should I spend this up front? Whereas Destiny, it's like, I know I'll like this, so I'm willing to spend the money up front. Also, I couldn't even log in on console on Final Fantasy 14, so I couldn't even play free to play.
With Final Fantasy 14, they do have up to a certain level is free to play now.
Yeah, it's like level 10, I think. I tried that, but I couldn't.
30.
Oh, well, I tried that, but I couldn't log in.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I went to, it's like enter your password, and I'm like, okay, and it's like this couldn't work or whatever. It's something with like the account, because I went onto like SquareEnix.com and made an account, and then I said like, okay, I want to play the free to play. It's like, okay, now it's registered on your account or whatever. So then I go to play it on PS4, and I'm like ready to type in my email address because it's different than what's on my PSN. Like the one I registered on Square Enix is different than my PSN email. But you can't change your email on Final Fantasy 14 on PS4 to like the one on your like, it's like you can't change it because it's tied to your account. It's tied to your PSN account. So I'm like,
might have been a technical issue because
then I went on to SquareEnix.com and I tried logging in with my PSN account, and it wouldn't. It's like this email's already been taken. So I'm like, there's a glitch here somewhere where it's like they think that I'm trying to make a new account with that. Like the PSN account is already registered somewhere in Square Enix's like data banks, but it's
personally, I never had any issues with
it. Might just be botched, and I won't be able to play it ever in my entire life.
Yeah, I probably just hate you.
At least on PS4. I was gonna say I'll just play it on my Mac, but can't. So
it's okay. I got a crappy laptop too. Yours is better, but
yeah, it's still Premiere crashes all the same.
Yeah. Um, but
It's
yeah,
been almost 2 hours.
yeah, it has. Just ranting, I guess.
My throat hurts.
All right. Well,
Well, finish your statement.
the issue, and I personally, this is something I think of, which more wishful thinking than anything. When I have kids and I want them to play games, and I'm going to be like, I want you to play this game, this game, and this game, I can't be like, I want you to play Overwatch, because by the time
You might
Overwatch
not be able
comes out,
to.
it'll be, I mean, 20 some odd years, maybe,
Yeah.
maybe less, maybe more. So the
Well,
game
yeah.
would be dead by that point.
Let me show you a game that I played when I was a kid called it was Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah, but it's like, okay,
It's like you just can't play it anymore.
You can only play in the future. If I want to go back to a game, it has to be a single player game. I can't go back to a Modern Warfare 2 and want to play online.
You won't be able to play Siege or like like Modern Warfare 2, but hey, here's Zelda.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that works.
Yeah.
I'd say that's one of my biggest reasonings against not just multiplayer trophies, but like single player games with DRM or whatever. It's like in 10 years we're not gonna be able to play this game.
Yeah.
So for the sake of preservation, allow your game to be played offline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Because I don't know. I mean, some of my favorite games of all time are older than I am, but I don't need the internet to play them. So, I mean, Super Nintendo games are 10 years older than me, and I can still play them in 2017.
Yeah. Yeah, PS1 games still look good to me. So
yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, they don't look, I admire the PS1 art style. Because I was watching Huber, he's from Easy Allies. He was playing through Resident Evil 2, like a full playthrough. And I'm like, man, these graphics suck, but they're also amazing. It's weird because PS1 just aged so weirdly. Well, whereas like I played a Nintendo, but that might be because I just played that when I was younger. Whereas I look at a Nintendo 64 game and I'm like, I can't even look at this game because it looks so weird to me.
Yeah.
But like, I wanted to talk about something else that fucking pissed me off that I learned the other day. God. So you know how I'm excited for Gran Turismo Sport, right? There was a preview, I think, that went up on this website for Gran Turismo Sport. I'm getting like, I'm having a panic attack thinking about it. Just like, oh my god. Apparently, there is almost zero single player content, like whatsoever. They said there's like no traditional Gran Turismo campaign. You're not going through I know you're probably not familiar, but the game's divided into like cups. There's like Sunday Cup, whatever, and you kind of work your way up from like the low cups to the very big cups, and you have like license challenges, which are like special driving challenges that let you.
It reminds me of like golfing games and stuff.
Like you need to do these challenges so you can rank up, so you can do these more challenging cups, and that gives you money so you can buy cars, so you can keep doing these better cups. Apparently, cups just aren't in Gran Turismo Sport, which is like the main draw for me for Gran Turismo games. And in the advertising, there was straight up a commercial for it's like, it's not about collecting, it's about skill. I'm like, collecting's my favorite part of Gran Turismo. What are you doing, guys?
Yeah.
Like, I suck at, like, I love this game, but I suck at it. Like, I get good at it after a while, but I'm not going to be at GT Academy winning Nuremberg like some people are. Because there's, like, you know about that?
I don't, but it sounds...
In Gran Turismo 5, they had this thing called Gran Turismo Academy. I think it was Gran Turismo 5, yeah. Where they had a select few people they had, like, a tournament online that you could join, and they took like the top 15, I think, and they sent them to a real academy where they learned how to drive. And like a year later, one of the drivers from that academy won a 24-hour endurance race at one of the most prestigious races. It's like, oh, what?
I remember hearing about
that.
Like
that was big. That was big news back because it was like, whoa, a gamer just won a real life thing from gamer skill. And like Gran Turismo taught me how to drive on ice. Like that game is pretty darn special to me, but like
the game is special to me because it's all.
Well, I mean, Gran Turismo 2 is one of the first games I've ever played.
Yeah, I know.
So like the series as a whole has a special place in my heart, and so it just fucking pisses me off when the newest game in the series that I've been waiting years for, since the PS4's launch for, isn't, you know, the Gran Turismo we deserve, I would say. I don't want to sound like an entitled gamer, but at the same point, it's like you're not listening. Like there's a point where like there's a difference between entitlement and just like, I don't know how to describe this, but listening to fans. Because I understand when people say like you're just entitled because you want this, and like I get pissed off at people who are entitled for their games. But when I see stuff like this where they're just tone deaf, they're not listening, they don't understand what makes their game special to a lot of people, it just breaks my heart. Because apparently the only single player stuff are those challenges, but they're not licenses, they're just goofy little mini games. And then the whole thing is like, because the whole marketing is like we're going back to the core of Gran Turismo. We're about skill. It's like Gran Turismo's never been about. It's been about skill, but for me the core had always been about look at these cool cars. You know.
Well, the thing is, and
growing up at least that's what it was.
It's a part of the movement that we've been making towards multiplayer games. Multiplayer games tend, in my mind, to do better than single player games.
Like it makes sense from a business perspective, but not from a public reception perspective.
Yes.
There are a lot of things, like we were going to talk about this, the 3DS and like Dragon Quest 11 selling better on 3DS than PS4. Some things make more sense from a business standpoint than a public relations standpoint. Like them not releasing, them not developing Persona Q2 for Switch at least.
Yeah,
it's like I understand why, but I don't like it anyway. You know, I'm pissed off anyway because like you have this brand new technology that people really enjoy, and you're not doing it.
Over there.
It's the same reason people are pissed off at Nintendo for making Pokemon Omegas or whatever Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon only for 3DS. It's like you have this opportunity. You have this keyword opportunity to bring Pokemon Sun and Moon to Switch, to bring Persona Q2 to Switch. And you just didn't. And I understand it'll sell just fine on 3DS because in Japan, the 3DS is still huge because portable gaming is huge. And I understand that you have this huge install base in America still. People not like me, like people who actually kept their 3DSs instead of me who sold it for their Switch because they figured, oh, hey, Nintendo has a new portable console. They should support it as a portable console. And they're just not doing that, so that pisses me the heck off. And so that's why I say it makes sense from a business standpoint, but you're pissing off a lot of people because you're wasting an opportunity.
I think the thing with, and honestly,
but Dragon Quest 11 is on PS4 and it's coming to the West, so it's like, okay.
I love Nintendo. They need to work on some of their business practices. They are trying
Have
to
they even updated their YouTube terms of service?
I think they...
Do you still have to like register with them and they still take half your money?
I'm not entirely certain about that.
Because I haven't heard any talk about that.
I think people just kind of like whatever on it.
Yeah, people might just be like, if it exists, who cares?
But like, if you want to get people to a console, start producing more for that console.
Well, and then like, ARMS.
Yeah.
Fucking ARMS. Like, I get why they had that stuttered release schedule, but who's talking about ARMS? ARMS who? What? What's ARMS? Splatoon 2's out now. You know, what's ARMS? Whereas if they had released ARMS at launch, like I think they could have, I'm pretty darn sure it was ready at launch. I think that would have been a perfect launch game because it's that palate cleanser for Zelda. It's like, hey, I'm playing Zelda, but I could also just hop over to ARMS and play a couple rounds. Okay, now that felt good. Now I'm gonna, because it's not a game you sink time into. It's a game you hop. It's like Mario Kart almost, where you hop in, that was fun, hop back out. Where like, so when you release that alone in the month of June, as your sole like Switch exclusive for that month, it's like, if someone only had a Switch, like I understand there are more games than ARMS out, but let's say they had every game. They bought it March 3rd. They've played every single game that had come on the marketplace, and now they bought ARMS, and that's the only thing they've got left until Splatoon 2. they're not gonna be playing it the whole time. I understand they released free DLC for it, but it's like one character is not gonna tide someone like. I understand it does for Overwatch, but Overwatch is a game where one character can fundamentally change the way the game is played.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in ARMS, it's just a play style.
Yeah.
So it's like this doesn't even make business sense. You know, like
the thing with Nintendo
it
is
does at the surface, but not the core.
they need new IP.
Well, and that's what ARMS.
People love Mario, they love Zelda, they love Metroid. People are already freaking out over Metroid Prime 4, and nothing's been shown of it whatsoever.
And Yoshi and Kirby.
Yoshi,
But
Kirby, whatever. They have their set. They don't get anything new.
Yeah, we got ARMS, but that didn't obviously. Who's talking about ARMS?
So ARMS and Splatoon are the
Splatoon was Wii U, but you could tell that Splatoon 2 is kind of just them saying, "Okay, it's Splatoon, but on Switch now."
yeah.
It's kind of almost a relaunch of that franchise. Like, okay, now Splatoon really matters. Now it's on the real console.
It's the same idea of them releasing Mario Kart for the Switch and Pokken Tournament for the Switch.
We're gonna put Smash.
If Smash ever goes
What
to the
else would
Switch.
they call it Smash Brothers for Wii U and Smash Brothers for 3DS. Next year, we're gonna see Smash Brothers for Switch.
Hopefully.
Because that was really smart titling on their part.
Yeah.
Because I think they knew that this wasn't gonna. They probably didn't want to make a brand new Smash Brothers game for whatever came next because Sakurai's done. Like, he doesn't want to do this anymore. Because I think it was either Brawl or Smash for Wii U. It had a different director, but Sakurai looked at it and goes, "This isn't. Let me step in for a second." And then he just became director.
It was
like, I don't want to do this. You just people suck. I don't want to say that, but like, and from his perspective, it might have been like, you people just aren't doing it to my standards. I also think
a big issue.
That was you cut out. You cut out for a sec. Just.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay. The thing with Nintendo is, sorry, they need new faces in Nintendo.
Mm-hmm. It's like you got ARMS and Splatoon, but
well, no. I'm talking director-wise.
Oh, I see what you mean.
People think Miyamoto is a genius.
Yeah,
sure.
Aonuma as well. Like Aonuma's gotten bigger,
but
because he's the director of Zelda.
I look at
Koizumi's also a newer face.
But the thing is,
he's the guy who's the Ice Cube guy.
And yeah, the amount of times Miyamoto has been like, I don't like this, or I do like this, or I don't like this. There might be situations where maybe he's wrong. Like it, but he might be wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, like take Iwata and like the old school Nintendo approach to online, or like Miyamoto and Iwata are just like online. Who wants that?
Yeah.
Where it's like, as much shit as I just talked about online about it not being like very successful in the long term, it's still like some of the best experiences you could possibly have in the medium are through competitive and cooperative multiplayer, online multiplayer, and so. Sometimes the people who are geniuses aren't geniuses when it comes to everything. They're geniuses in, like, you know, Miyamoto might be a genius of Mario and Zelda design, like how to make a Mario and Zelda game.
Mm-hmm.
But he might not be a genius when it comes to designing a Star Fox game, as is the case with Star Fox. Well, it was Platinum that made Star Fox Zero, but I think he directed it.
Yeah.
But it was like, not everything these people touch is going to be gold. And that might not be their fault, like with Star Fox Zero. It's not Miyamoto's fault, obviously. But these geniuses might, like I said, might not be geniuses when it comes to specific things. And maybe they don't know what's best for certain things at some times. Like, obviously, Aonuma did for Zelda, because Breath of the Wild is being heralded as one of the best games of all time, as it is. Like, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, Miyamoto is 64 years old, and that's not necessarily that old.
Yeah, but it's also like, it might be time. You've had a successful career, you know?
I don't think he necessarily needs to retire, but I think
I'm not saying like
bringing people in.
If it was up to me, he would never retire. Like, he would live forever and make Mario games till the sun dies.
Yeah.
But life goes on.
Yeah. But I think new faces are always a good thing to bring.
I think Koizumi is the director of Mario Odyssey. I could be wrong about that. I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna look it up.
So I won't look it up then. But yeah, it's just like Splatoon. Splatoon was made by the young people in, I believe it was a younger group that came in and made that game. And Splatoon? Yeah. Splatoon was very successful for one of Nintendo's worst consoles ever.
Yeah.
Sold consoles.
Koizumi's the producer on Mario Odyssey.
Okay. But
the director is Kenta Motakura. Don't know who that is. Hey, since I don't know who that is, hey Nintendo, maybe you show his face on something. Say, hey, this is the director of Super Mario Odyssey, one of the year's most anticipated titles. This, like, he is going to be a huge visionary for the company moving forward. Yeah, it's like
he doesn't even have a Wikipedia page.
That just isn't all about Nintendo, though. They just rely so much on their old stuff. Yeah. What's familiar? They rely too much on what's familiar, I think. Mario, Zelda, Metroid. Look, I love all that stuff. I love it all. This stuff should definitely exist. I just don't think that. I guess here's where, business sense. It makes business sense to rely on those because business-wise, and critically, those are the most successful things. But at the same time, you have a risk of growing stale if you don't try to innovate in different ways. You innovate, it's tough because you could say, well, Breath of the Wild innovated. Like, it changed the way people perceive open world games. And I'd agree with that. But at the same time, it's like, how interesting would that game have been if it wasn't Legend of Zelda? If it was still Nintendo, but if it was a brand new IP. Mm-hmm. That would have been banana. Like, that would have been bananas. Yeah. People would have been like, what the hell is this? Mm-hmm. That would have been, oh my god, now that I think about it, that would have been crazy. Like, holy crap.
The thing
that would have been such a statement, but they just, because, well, didn't Miyamoto say they make the game first and they find a franchise almost like to put it with next?
I'm not entirely sure.
He said they do that. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, he's gone on record to say they do that for a lot of games. They'll have a fun concept and they'll say, okay, what franchise does this work with?
Yeah, who do we attach it to?
Yeah, so it's like, how about just make something new?
Yeah.
That might be why Splatoon exists, honestly. That might be why ARMS exists, because they just couldn't think of a franchise to attach it to. It's like, how about we just make a new one?
Yeah.
It doesn't really make sense for Mario to have these paintball guns and multiplayer battles. So how about, it's like, for them to make a new IP, it almost has to be a new genre for them.
But the issue with new IPs is it's difficult to sell.
It's a risk.
Yes.
It's a risk. It's a financial risk. Yeah. But apparently ARMS did well.
Yeah.
Like it tracked in the whatever it's called, the monthly sales.
Yeah.
For June, like, it got in the top 10. So obviously it did well. I don't know if it did what they were expecting, but it still did well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, because that's why it would have been the perfect launch game, because people are just hungry for whatever Switch exclusives they can get. And that would have just came out right out of the gate. People would have been like, what's this brand new thing that I can get with my brand new thing?
Yeah.
As a palate cleanser, as a foil to Zelda.
Yeah, I mean, because I didn't touch I got Zelda.
I haven't touched my Switch in a long time outside of, like, the Puyo Puyo Tetris demo. That's why I want Sonic Mania, so I can have a reason to play it again.
Well, yeah, so I got Zelda, and then I got Shovel Knight, which I had already played before, and I just played Spectre of Torment. That's all I played. I have Minecraft on it, and I've played a bit, but not much. And then Puyo Puyo Tetris, and then Mario
the demo
Kart.
Or the full game?
Demo. And then Mario Kart. And I didn't touch... From the end, it was April 20 something that got released, 29th or 28th or something like that. I didn't touch my Switch until Splatoon came out, and that was a week or two ago or whatever. So I didn't touch it for 2 months. I didn't touch my Switch for 2 months.
Yeah, I haven't played. I hardly play it. It's like, that's why I'm excited for Sonic Mania and Mario Odyssey. It's like, give me a reason to play this thing. Yeah. Give me something to prioritize. Whereas, like, I'm working through my backlog right now. I'm probably, the next game I buy is probably gonna be Nier Automata.
Yeah.
Not ARMS.
Mhm.
It's like
But even
maybe
Nier was a sequel.
what?
Nier is a sequel.
Yeah, but it's one of those sequels that are like it's in the same universe, but it's not really a
Mhm.
sequel. Like it ties in, but not really. It's a sequel the same way. Like I'm trying to think. It's Nier Automata is a sequel to Nier the same way Black Ops 3 is a sequel to Black Ops 2.
Yeah.
It's like it's in the same universe, but it's pretty much just its own thing.
Mhm.
There might be a couple like plot time. As far as I know, for all I know, the ending of Nier could be like the whole time it was like taking place in the middle of the main game, and it was a time paradox or time bubble. I don't know,
Mhm.
but yeah, Nier is probably going to be the next game I knock off the backlog. I have my backlog written. I'm gonna just like run it down. Moving on
No,
from Nintendo.
I have.
I'm probably gonna end this soon because I have to pee and my throat hurts. But I just want to run down it real quick. Okay, I definitely want to try Nier Automata. I think Prey as well. I want to give a shot.
I really wasn't into it.
I tried the demo and I liked it. I liked the plot. I wasn't a huge fan of the gameplay, but I liked the story of where I was going. Maybe Gravity Rush 2. I probably want to play the first one first.
Mhm.
Tales of Berseria, maybe. Like I'm not a huge JRPG person outside of the stuff I know and like.
Yeah.
Maybe For Honor just to play the campaign. I would say Mass Effect Andromeda, but I don't really care that much.
It's like $10 right now.
I know, but it's like I don't care that much about Mass Effect.
Mm.
Pretty much the only reason I play that game is if it was free. But there is that free trial, so.
Yeah.
Halo Wars 2, maybe. And yeah, that's it.
Mm.
I don't really want to play Resident Evil 7 just because like I already watched a billion playthroughs of that, and
Oh, you didn't play it?
Nah.
I thought
I'm
you
a little pussy.
Yeah, I did know that. No, so I got to finish Persona, finish Horizon, finish Danganronpa Ultra Despair Girls before 3 comes out.
You getting Senran Kakura? Whatever?
No, I'm not. And then I've been playing Persona Q, the first one, because they just announced Q2 or whatever, and I'm just like, oh, well, I own the
Did you
first
already
one.
have that?
Yeah, I already owned it. It was on sale for digital on the 3DS a year ago or something like that. And then Undertale comes out in a couple weeks on PS4.
I have it on Steam. I put like an hour into it, but I just kind of stopped.
I got about halfway through, but then they said they were doing it for PS4, so I already have it paid off and pre-ordered and all that stuff. So
Nerd.
It's fun. It's really cute.
I think Undertale's okay. But...
And then I've been playing Night in the Woods. That game resonates with me so much.
Well, yeah, those are like the AAA games. There's still like I still want to play What Remains of Edith Finch. I think.
Yeah.
I want to try that. Maybe Patapon remastered.
Yeah,
because it's like Greg Miller.
15, I think, for that.
Evangelizing it so much. It's like
Yeah.
let's just hubbubs about. Yakuza Kiwami is coming out. That's only it's $25 if you get it on Amazon with Prime, and you get the Steelbook.
Ooh.
So it's like not bad.
Yeah,
dude. Like, can we just talk about Sega being the good guys? Like, $30 for a complete remake of the first Yakuza game on PS4, and the DLC is all gonna be free. It's like
pretty darn good.
Good guy, Sega. Like, well, if you ask Japanese developers, why? Because Valkyria Chronicles Remastered is also only $30.
Yeah,
and a lot of Japanese developers or like publishers, you'll be like people like, why is this only $30? Like, you've already played this game. Why would we? Like, you probably already played this game. Is already out. Why would we ask you to pay full price again? It's like you guys are all right. But usually it's only like one game at a time. And so, whereas like a lot of Western developers try to get away with charging $60 by saying it's the complete edition it's the BioShock collection. It's the whatever collection. It's the
Yeah.
Ezio trilogy.
When this collections usually come out, I wait a bit and then wait until they price drop.
I'd rather just buy each game separately. Like
Yeah,
$20.
I mean, Assassin's Creed, I haven't played them on the PlayStation at all, so it's like, okay, well, I could pay
I would seriously
$20
pay.
and get two Brotherhood and Revelations on the PS3, and it's the same thing.
Well, yeah, it's like I'd rather pay $15 and just have Brotherhood on PS4 than pay whatever for 2 and Revelations. It's like I already platinum those. I'm good.
Yeah.
I played a lot. Them a lot.
All right.
But yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we're gonna end it.
I really gotta pee. Yeah. Outro. It's not a lot. It's fast and loose. This has been the Community Podcast episode 7. I've been your host. I've been your host, Wade Ronspees, joined by my guest, Jonathan.
Hi.
I'm trying to be a little enthusiastic for my outro.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like. I hate because it feels like I'm trying to sell someone something, and I'm like the anti-commercial for anything. I'm just against the man.
No. All right. Well, good talking to you.
If you liked watching, I'm talking to you, audience, now. If you exist, if you're out there, which I highly doubt, but in the rare event that there is an audience watching this and made it all the way to the end or skip to the end, subscribe. Yeah, that helps me out because it makes me feel like people actually give a shit.
And as H3H3 would say, smash that motherfucking like button.
Smash that motherfucking like button.
Smash it.
That just probably... Okay, I'm sorry. I rip audio or headphone users.
All right. See ya.
Yeah. Bye. Have fun. Good night.
Night.
See you next time.